Yo, what's good people? Today we have a very special video because I have the OverDrive. So OverDrive were kind enough to send a OverDrive leverless controller. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into the controller. I'm going to talk about components. I'm going to talk about fit and finish, how it feels to play with, all that stuff. So stay tuned. So first of all, I just wanted to stop by on their website to kind of show you the different options and different buttons, different configurations you can pick when ordering this controller. We have two different button configurations. So we have Samuel buttons, which are kind of the regular arcade buttons that people have used for years, and then we have the Quamba Gravity buttons, which in my opinion are more premium. They are mechanical buttons, so they feel a little bit, just that slight bit more satisfying to press. I feel like they're more accurate with the inputs as well, in my opinion, just with my experience. And then we have the LED color. So as you can see, there's kind of an LED diffuse lighting trim around the controller, which can be turned off, by the way. But you can choose from 4 different colors. So you have white, red, as you can see, yellow, and light blue. Personally, light blue is my favorite. I just really like how it kind of complements the controller with the kind of all black stealthy look. It just looks really cool in person. So now we're going to talk about the PCB, as you can see here. So there's 2 options. A PCB stands for printed circuit board. So essentially it's the brains of the controller, and every controller has a PCB. So a PCB means when, in simple terms, when you press a button, it sends the signal to the console or the PC, and then the input is registered on the screen. So that's kind of what the PC is doing for you in a controller. So the PCB can ultimately determine how quickly the input shows on the screen from you pressing the input. So latency is very important in a PCB, and latency means, in simple terms, the speed. So OverDrive are using the highest spec PCBs. So you have 2 options. So you have the P5 Plus, which works on all platforms apart from Xbox. So yes, you're going to get PS5 native support using this board. And then you have the Brock USB Fusion board, which also natively works on PS5. The only difference is this works on Xbox. So every platform, Switch, Xbox, PC, PlayStation 3, 4, 5, you're going to get support for all platforms. So personally for me, I think the standouts of this controller are the materials. So you can see it is a metal enclosure, but the difference is this is aluminium, which is lighter than your typical stainless steel enclosure. And that's why I think this controller is very good, because it feels very light, but in your lap, it's very planted, and it's a kind of really nice medium between planted and weight. This is very light, but it's also very planted. So it's a very nice middle ground, I think, for leverless style controllers. Now, the unboxing experience for me was very premium because it comes in a really nice box. It's just super premium, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you order it and you get it for the first time and you take it out of the box and it's like, wow, this is like a trophy. It's almost so pretty you don't want to use it. It's that premium. So in the box comes a kind of felt-ish material. I would describe it as a soft cloth material. So soft cloth, felt-ish material. It just protects the OverDrive controller. It's very nice. Feels very premium, soft to the touch. So it's going to protect your controllers from, if you put it in a backpack, you do want to bring that protective bag, throw it in your backpack, and then you're good to go. And it's USB-C, which is a really nice touch. So as you can see on the enclosure, there's a USB-C port. And personally, I prefer USB-C because it's just quicker to plug in. It's convenient, and it slots in both ways. So yeah, I think USB-C is the way forward. We see smartphones with USB-C. We even saw iPhone switch to USB-C, so it's definitely the future. So yeah, USB-C is a nice touch. And I want to talk about the felt bottom, because more manufacturers of leverless style controllers, arcade stick, what have you, should include a bottom that's fully covered with this kind of material. So whether it's rubber, whether it's felt, and I prefer the felt because it doesn't slip around. I know some rubber materials do slip, and I don't know why, but yeah, this is not going to slip. As I said, it's very planted but very light, and that's something that I really like about the controller. So now we're on Tekken, and I always do this sequence in terms of testing buttons and testing movement, because movement is one of the most important things for Tekken in general. With 3D games, even 2D games, is very important to have snappy movement. Those snappy back dashes, those snappy forward dashes is really going to help you in terms of less telegraphed movement. A sequence I do is, I'll play it. So it's Razor Rush from Lei, down forward 4, and then Razor Rush. I'm gonna just neutral guard and then block the down forward 4, and then I'm gonna backdash the whole Razor Rush string. And typically I have trouble with this on certain buttons that are too sensitive, because I can't backdash cleanly. And it's weird because you would think that having more sensitive buttons means it's more responsive, but actually that's the opposite in terms of arcade buttons. So you want the arcade button to be responsive, but you don't want it to be so sensitive that you start getting misinputs, because that's where the misinputs come from, having too sensitive of a button. And I think these Quamba buttons, I have extensive playtime with these buttons anyway, so I am comfortable with the buttons, but I think they are very responsive but not too sensitive. Like, they are just the right amounts of sensitivity, I think, in my opinion. So with Paul, movement is actually quite effortless, as you can see. Like, look at the backdash, you can see just above the cam overlays, you can see the inputs. It's super clean. So yes, I really enjoy these buttons. Excellent buttons in my opinion. So now we're going to try the lay sequence. I literally just did it 2 times in a row. Look at how clean these inputs are. Even in terms of the button placement, you can see. I'm going to switch to the big cam so you can see what I mean. So the button placement, this gap that you can see is a little bit further away. So the attack buttons are further away from the direction inputs, and that's one complaint that a lot of people have with leverless style controllers, is they feel that their hands are too close together when actually using the controller. So OverDrive have kind of split these and moved them ever so slightly more to the opposite direction of each other, so it gives you a little bit more space, and I actually prefer it that way as well. Okay, so we have Kirikira's Shaheen. Let's see what we can do on the OverDrive controller. Let's go. Shaheen is so sick.
Round 1.
Let's go. Oh wow. Nope.
Fight.
I mashed. I'm crazy, I mashed. Nice. Oh, I dropped it. Mash. Nice.
Round 3. Fight.
He's caught onto my stepping. Wave dashing with Paul. You see? This controller is great. I love this controller. I really do. I think it's planted, even though I'm playing on desk right now, just for the video purposes, but it's planted, it's light, it's compact. The button placement is really nice as well in terms of how far of a distance is in between the directions and the attack buttons. I really like it. So I really enjoy using this controller. Like, I'm actually happy to use it. Like, it's actually a breath of fresh air. The price is great. I think one thing to really highlight is the price, because the components inside it are top notch. I just highlighted how the PCB is the Brook Fusion or a Brook P5, which are the top 2 boards for latency on the market right now. So really good components inside. The buttons feel great. I already have extensive playtime with these buttons, as I just mentioned before, but I think these buttons are great. They're mechanical. They kind of give you that satisfaction when pressing them, but also they're not too sensitive. So the responsiveness you get out of them is really good. The build quality The build quality is crazy. The LED you can see is kind of diffused a little bit off the desk. It's just a really nice product to have, and you get the extra felt bag included in the box. And I also want to show you the bottom, which would have been highlighted a little bit earlier in the video, but look at the felt bottom. So it's literally, it doesn't move. It really doesn't. When it's on your lap, like when it's against your skin or if it's against clothing, it really doesn't move. So that's what I mean in terms of the controller is very planted, and it's light because this is aluminium. It's an aluminium frame. So yeah, very planted. I just enjoy the controller. Thank you, OverDrive, for sending this over. It's really, really good. You did a great job. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.